$3,000 a year, buddy.
I think we're going.
I'm not hearing.
It is going.
Are you sure it's going?
It's recording.
All right. Yes, trustee Gopal reminded me it is now 6:31 PM. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on the 17th day of September, 2024. I ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Trustee Gopal, will you please lead?
Yes, sir. Lord, we meet here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon these activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And we thank you, as always, for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mark, I always say thanks, but from the bottom of my heart, I do. I say thank you. Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Patrick,
Here.
Krug is present. Kessler's absent, Gopal,
here.
Tucker,
Present.
you have 6 members present.
Thanks, Bob. All right. I'd also like to note for the record that Township Attorney Jack Belzer, our Operations Manager Tom Broker, our Fire Chief Ryan Bowles, our Zoning Administrator Mike Dean, and our Township Assessor Julia Wilson are also present this evening. Additionally, the following township officials are present via Zoom, yes. Township Engineers Alan and Melissa Lawrence. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending virtually?
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on Public Access TV, Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. For tonight's meeting, there are 5 public hearings, including Lake Improvement Special Assessment hearings for Golden Pond and Pine Lake, street lighting special assessment hearings for Cider Creek and West Winds, and the 2024 Fire Protection Special Assessment. Public comment will be taken during each of these public hearings. All other public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the township's website at fentontownship.org.
All right, thanks, Tom. Moving on to the first business in order is the approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes, I vote yes, Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler is absent, Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. The agenda is as presented. All right, tonight we have a presentation. I'd like to introduce Fenton Township Social Media Coordinator, Monica McAllister. She is an advanced public information officer through FEMA and part of the training committee for the Government Social Media Association. Monica has her master's degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Management and is a facilitator for the Michigan State Police Emergency Management Division for Public Information. Tonight, Monica is joining us to go over the state of Fenton Township social media. Monica?
All right, so 3 years ago, you guys hired me to come in and start your social media. So we started off 3 years ago with just the fire department and the dog park having Facebook. That was it for social media outreach for the entire township. In the 3 years, I've created 5 different social media accounts, including Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Nextdoor, and Threads. In that time, we have grown the following on Facebook to be 1,100 followers. That's compared to in the 3 years that the dog park, having been around since 2015, is at 1.7 thousand and the fire department at 1.3. In that time, the board has gone through and you guys have upgraded a lot of our infrastructure for digital management. You updated the website. That was one of the things that I was brought in to also help manage. I didn't have a say in it, but it's been a great learning experience, learning the background on all of that, being able to update everything and just learn how to fully encompass communications, because digital communications, while they're separate, they do merge together. With that, when it comes to digital communications, the difference between social media and the website comes in the name, it's social. We're not just blasting out information and not expecting people to comment back. With that, that has helped with our impressions. Next door, we have 6,000 people in Fenton Township that are registered on Nextdoor. With 6,000 people seeing it, automatically, they have spread that information to over 24,000 people saw our Nextdoor just in August. Taking that to Facebook, kind of the same thing with our 1.1 thousand people that we have on Facebook. We have expanded that to just in August, 22.6 thousand people saw our Facebook page just in the month of August. In comparison, our website had 22.6 thousand people for the same month. When it comes to Facebook and it comes to our website, they bring in drastically different crowds. People are going to our website looking for stats, looking for meeting information. They're going to Facebook to look for community events, whether it's coming to the meetings, whether it's, the main thing is actually all of our road commission projects. Our number one image on Facebook right now is our water tower. Who knew? That was gonna be the most popular thing that people wanted to see. But with that, we've gone through, and with it being social media, people want to comment. They want to express their opinions. And that is actually why we'll get to that a little bit later on in the meeting, why there is social media policies and terms and conditions that we'll talk about. Because just like here, it's supposed to be public record. We have to keep track of that. It is a limited liability forum, and we have to archive it. We have to make sure that nothing anybody says gets deleted. We can't, as government, go through and delete. We can't tell people that they can't comment. And that's just kind of, I've spent 3 years researching all of this, and with Jack's help, we went through and we've got all of this kind of together for you guys tonight. I wanted to point out, like I was saying before, our top one on Facebook is the water tower, followed by a whole bunch of road commission, whether it's updates for the different closings on Torrey Road, Laring Road, updates, as you'll see on the two that are on there that don't have images. When you go back to update it, you've got to just update the original post. Don't just create a new one, because then somebody that had shared that original one, that information's not going anywhere. One of the other things that I did is I took part in, and that's a lovely selfie of myself up there at our dog park, was City Hall Selfie Day. It takes place every year. It is put on by engaging local government leaders. This year for 2024, I was actually named one of their top 100. It was actually 101 this year because one of the other townships put a dog in the running and they couldn't deny the dog. Pets help. Before that, that was some of our other most popular ones that have kind of fallen off as things become more popular, and as our Facebook growing grows, different things are coming to the surface as to what our residents want to see. And that's two of them that are on here, is the bus one, and then the last one, the fire is fast. That's part of a preparedness program that I kind of started with PSAs, and of course, September being National Preparedness Month, it's kind of led into it as well. But out of the top 10, the fact that 2 of our PSAs for preparedness are things that people want to see on Facebook just tells us our residents want to engage with us. They want to know what to do. They want to learn from us, and they want to be able to engage with us. When it comes to the communications, our website is our hub. Everything kind of branches off of it. We've started the monthly newsletter. That started October of 22 was our first publication, and we have had one every month since. I'm sure everybody probably got the one in the mail in January. That was our longest one to date, and we sent it to everybody. That way, to start the new year, everybody got all the up-to-date election information. They got information on what was going on with utilities, what was going on with the Southern Lakes Water Extension Project. The main thing with any communication is we need to meet our residents where they're at. We've got residents that are strictly website. We've got residents that call and say they've never even looked at the website and they don't do social media. They don't do the internet. So that's another part where we brought up with the newsletter, we print it. We keep it in our lobby. Already this month, I've had to replace the copies in the lobby 3 times. We're only halfway through the month. As the communication outreach grows, more and more people are coming in. They're knowing that it's there. The vestibule, when I started, had pamphlets in there for like park and recreation. We're starting to put that on the license plates. I've gone through, I've cleaned that up. Every month I restock it. I keep inventory as to what it is our residents are picking up, what information is it, and I gauge from there. What do they want to know? And I also take that to social media, because if they're picking up the flyers, they probably want to know more about it. With that, we also update the PowerPoint in the lobby. I don't know if anybody has seen that upstairs. I try to keep it on when I leave, before board meetings, so knowing that people are coming in. It's just another branch off of just our social media. I use a lot of the same graphics on there that I create all myself. I take all the images. In fact, right before the meeting, there was a lovely hydro balloon above the lake. So I took some more images so that I have stock footage. Flyers and brochures, I make a bunch of those. And then going back to the social part of the social media and our growing and our following on there, I just want to state how important it is that we make sure, as we are now expanding rapidly, if you look at the chart that I had on the graph about how Facebook kind of started off slow, but in the last year, it's really taken off. That means more people are interacting, which is great for us, but it also means that we need to make sure that we're following case law and making sure that we're protected, that our staff's protected, and that our officials are protected as well.
Monica, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Is there any questions from the board for Monica?
Do you find that the feedback from the community is pretty positive? I know
Yes.
I see your Facebook and next door posts.
Yeah.
think
I
they
actually
all-
had a phone call Friday of a lady that she actually called because she wasn't sure when the taxes were due, because the normal tax deadline fell over a weekend. And so she was glad to see that it was gonna be on Monday, and I told her, I'm like, am I actually in the middle of typing up a post right now for social media? She goes, I hope you're putting it on Nextdoor. She goes, because I don't do social media except for Nextdoor. And so that's how a lot of people are getting the information. And that's why trying to kind of diversify our social media, while a lot of times it is a lot of the same information. Twitter, you're only allowed like 150 characters, or X as it's been rebranded. Nextdoor, I can do paragraphs explaining things out. And I actually have some stuff for like elections with kind of save the date as to when there's some like deadlines for when you can do things. That way it's all spelled out for people. They don't have to hunt. I don't want to say hunt through our website, but with our election and voting section, there's different sections where everything's at. And I'm trying to like pull everything together so there's like a one-stop shop for people.
Thank you.
I don't have a question, but I will tell you, I'm 65 years old. I'm not active in social media. But I get the Nextdoor stuff without me doing anything regularly. And it's useful stuff.
Yep.
I mean, her timing is excellent. The content is excellent. You know, the road closures, it's saved me time. I wished you worked for Monday Township because they didn't tell me that Baldwin Road was gonna be closed for a couple of days. And I went, so I had to back back and go around, but it's showing up for people that, you know, I'm not illiterate when it comes to social. I have a Facebook account. I just don't post. I don't post on Nextdoor, but I get it. It comes to my
Yep.
box
And
and it's not a waste of my time. That's the, you know, a lot of the stuff you get in your inbox is just a complete waste of time. What this township is sending out through this fine young lady is useful, timely information. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
Yes, Kate?
I agree with pretty much all that. I'm glad that we're sending out more stuff by social media. I do have concerns about the social media policies. I don't know if we want to talk about that now or wait till.
Now I'll wait.
Yeah,
later on the agenda.
I'm not leaving. I'll come back up.
Yep, I asked her to stay.
You have
Any-
anything planned for the future where you want to grow to?
I wanted to just keep growing. That's one of the things that I'm actually proud of, the fact that we have not spent any taxpayer money on any ads for this. It's all grassroots. It's word of mouth. It's putting it in our newsletter. It's putting it on our website. It's actually, we did an article with the Tri-County Times, probably like in my first year here, talking about what the kind of the plan was, and we've branched out from that even. Like I said, it's that trying to meet our residents where they are, and as we continue to grow, we figure out better alternatives to try to find people. That's, all of our social media platforms are verified except for one, because that one wants to charge you for it. So there is one that we are not verified on, but I still like to have it, because if there is ever an issue, I like us to already have that presence on there, rather than having somebody have a fake account. We can be like, nope, we're here, we've been here for this long, this is our account.
Other questions? Thanks, Monica. Did a great job.
Thanks.
And you do a great job. One thing I would say is, me personally, I want to thank the board. I came to you guys, what, 3.5 years ago? And, we got a new file server. You made the decision to spend the money, and I think our return has been exponential. I can't even
I
tell
feel
you
like the
what we're
connection-
reaching.
the connection with the
21,000
residents,
people?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't exist before. I mean, you get a few people to show up at the meetings. I mean, we got TV now, we get a few more that way, but this reaches way more people. And I just feel better that we're getting what we're doing out there and we're telling people what's going on. They're more informed and I feel better for it.
Well, I can tell you this, out of, something that was on the agenda at the last meeting, I received 2 phone calls and 1 letter or email from someone, they just watched us on YouTube. And one of them is actually here tonight. So, people are watching our social media, watching what we do on, so they don't always feel they have to come to a meeting now. They can, if it's something personal, they can, but if not, they can see what their township's doing. So, it was a great investment. So, thank you.
Good move. It's a good move.
Yeah, the board made it great. All right, the next business order is meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the September 3rd special meeting and the September 3rd regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes?
Did see a typo, but you're not gonna.
Change for typo.
Yeah. I'll point it out to Tom when I find it again. It was just the extra letter on a word.
Okay.
I don't know where it's at, but.
I usually catch those. All right, hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. All right, next business order is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices?
Oh, I did have some questions on that. It's started with an E. I was trying to keep track because you always ask me who it is. There's one of the E entries. Let me get there. It was almost looked like a credit card.
Land Financial Services?
Yes.
It's the township credit card.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So it says a lot of sundry. What is all of this? I see there's some seminar type
Well,
training stuff.
262, I believe, is election, so, it's probably food for the election workers is in there, multiple different. We buy stuff at the store,
Yeah.
stuff from
Okay.
the restaurants.
All right.
Education and training, 257, I think is assessing. So it's I mean, I can.
It's fine.
Yeah, we can-
Sundry is just kind of a generic category that doesn't really tell me anything. So I saw a lot of sundries and I thought I should at least ask
Yeah,
about
well,
it.
But the Department 262, that's election. So sundry is going to be generally, food and refreshments, whether it's for, election day. We also had the early processing day, staff working on the weekends.
I had another one I wanted to ask about. I just answered one of my own questions. I'm not seeing, I've slept since then, so I don't remember what the other one is, but I'm good.
I will tell you that, and I think the staff that's here will lend affirmation. I am big on continuing education. So if you do see education in there, if they come to me and they think it's something that's important. I'm not talking about large travel or anything, but there's Zoom classes that they take, MTA meetings, things like that. I support that. Any other questions? All right, a motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $918,087.67 for payment.
So moved.
Support,
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
yes. Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler is absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes. Patrick,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. The expenditures stand approved as presented. Moving on to public hearings. This is Golden Pond Improvement Special Assessment District Number 2, hearing on special assessment roll. This is a public hearing on the special assessment roll for Golden Pond Improvement Special Assessment District Number 2. We've all reviewed the memo in our packets. Operations Manager Broker, do you want to give any other details?
So the board approved created the special assessment district at the last meeting, around the August 20th meeting, excuse me. And the 5-year quote unquote renewal for this special assessment to control the invasive non-native weeds. Looking at $112 the first year, and it's 84, 86, 89, 91 per parcel for the 5-year period. which is pretty comparable to what they paid the last assessment as well.
Anything else, Tom?
That's it.
All right, board will now accept public comment on the following. An individual's assessment in relation to the benefit received, the total cost of the project, and the validity of the proceedings to date. I will now open up the meeting for public comment. Tom, is there any written comments?
None.
All right. Is there
Got a
anyone,
gentleman there.
is there anyone here in person? Yes, sir. Come on up. If you could come up to the podium and just give us your name.
My name's Chuck Schramm, 2342 Swans Cove. It says eradication of the weeds is what the wording says. By the way, thank you. You showed up at my house 2 winters ago. My mom had an AFib. You guys don't hear all the good things that happen too. And I thought my mom had a heart attack. You said, relax, chill out, it's AFib. So, thank you. So the guy that comes and sprays, I don't know if you guys know, he has an airboat. He shows up, he drives around the lake one time, maybe twice. You know, so for the $112 assessment, I know there's some fees that are in there too. You know, he's in front of our property, maybe 30 seconds. So if the assessment is for 60+ homes, something like that, in that area, ours, the Swans Cove that I live on, there's 16 homes that are there. So, I mean, within my view, it's probably 60+ homes anyway. At 30 seconds per home, that kind of thing, he's doing a pretty good business. It's not very effective, because that's one of the things that it says in there is how effective is it? The benefit is some people see the undergrowth of weeds, it has slowed at times, but that deals a lot with the temperature of the water also. So when we get a lot of rain and so forth, we see a ton of lily pads. People that go down to Lakeshore and everything, they drive by there every day. You can see it's covered with lily pads. So the lily pads do not get affected by his spray at all.
Well, and they're not.
They're not invasive.
No, and I understand that, because he's probably doing some sort of like a sulfate, copper sulfate, something like that, or whatever he's using.
I think they use that, sometimes they use 2,4-D, but they're targeting the invasive non-native. weed
Yeah,
species.
which is the undergrowth weeds, and usually it's pretty good at that. The downside of that is that the growth on the top, the lily pads are continually growing so much that it covers the surface of the water, so that you can't really tell what's killing off the weeds underneath anyway, because they're not getting a lot of sun anyway. In a lot of places, the lily pads are so overgrown that there's nothing underneath except for the lily pad growth. So, I mean, if he could do something, if you could talk to him, could he include something to reduce the lily pad growth? It's a tough way to go. Because right now, a lot of people don't even have access to their docks and so forth, because the lily pads are surrounding their docks.
So their permit will allow them to treat lily pads only on a very limited basis, because they're a native plant. Now,
And I know that. That's,
If it's to make enough room to get a boat in, generally, I believe Eagle will allow that. And I believe you can contact Derek or Nick at Aquatic Nuisance and request additional treatments. I think they build some of that.
could we contact him?
Yes, absolutely.
Go through your office or something to
You can
contact him?
contact them directly. Aquatic Nuisance. I mean, if you don't have the number, call us, we'll get it for you. But
Okay,
But they'll deal directly with the residents.
okay. I mean, for the amount of time that he spends out there, I can only tell you that it's not that effective, because some people swear that he's doing a great job and other people think that he's not doing a great job. So the results are varied for sure. Some people do not think, like some people back into the coves and so forth, it's not very effective at all. So if it says eradication, it's not working. And for a 5-year plan, if it's a 5-year plan, maybe he's controlling them over 5 years, but it's not gonna get rid of it, that's for sure.
Well, we never see any of it completely wiped out, so
Okay,
maybe eradication isn't the best word, but it's to manage and control and maintain the quality of the lake.
okay. So speaking to him specifically to try and get something done and be the best thing we could do.
Yes,
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to pay something above and beyond the $90 a year.
it's possible. If it's a specific treatment for your property, you may say, yeah, it's gonna cost you $50 or $100. I don't know what it'll be. But if it's over and above what is in the contract, then that would be a separate project.
The neighborhood of Swans Cove, the Golden Pond 2, I mean, there's literally 8 different docks that are surrounded by the lily pads. That's part of the problem, is that people just can't get their boats in and out.
Well, Chuck, best thing to remember is the township just sets up the special assessment district, collects the money. It's really your association that comes to us to do that. So you certainly can
Okay, and that
contact
meeting's right here
aquatic
next week,
nuisance
so,
directly and talk to them. I mean, like you said, you're paying for it.
okay,
Township's just collecting.
okay, and maybe I'll get with your office or something and see if I can get his number. Okay, thank you. Thanks
No
for
problem,
listening.
Chuck. Thanks. Is there anyone else attending that would like to address the board? All right, hearing none, we'll move to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom that would like to address the board? If you do, just unmute. Like nobody? All right, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, resolution number 2024-42. Clerk Crew, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, it confirms the special assessment roll 2024-07 as the assessment roll for Golden Pond Improvement Special Assessment District 2. Divides the assessments into 5 annual, installments, with the first installment due and payable on December 1st, 2024. Assesses a 1% per month penalty on late installments, directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with his warrant to the treasurer, directs the treasurer to collect the special assessments, and repeals any conflicting resolution. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes,
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next under public hearings is Cider Creek 1 Street Lighting Special Assessment District Hearing on Special Assessment Roll. This is a public hearing on the special assessment roll for the Cider Creek 1 Street Lighting Special Assessment District. Again, we've reviewed the memo in our packets. Anything you'd like to add, Operations Manager?
It's, in this case, the developer still owns all the lots, so, they've requested it to have the streetlights put in under the township's contract. And it's, $800 for installation, which they're going to pay up front to move the process along. $960 per year, estimated for operation and maintenance. And then we'll collect, the first year, we'll collect the township administrative costs as well.
All right, thanks, Tom. The board will now accept public comment on the following: individual's assessment in relation to the benefit received, a total cost of the project, and the validity of the proceedings to date. I will now open up the meeting for public comment. Tom, any written comments?
None.
All right. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the board? All right, moving on to Zoom. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board? Again, just unmute. And again, we're only talking about Cider Creek 1. Hearing nothing? All right, I'll now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
In the past, I've said there's no way on earth you get 100% support for these kind of projects, but I think we now have the exception for that. The developer owns all the lots.
All the lots. Any other comments?
Exception to every rule.
Hearing none, resolution number 2024-43. Clerk Crew, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, it confirms the special assessment roll number 2024-09 as the assessment roll for Cider Creek Street Lighting Special Assessment District, establishes an annual installment in the roll, each due and payable on December 1st, assigns a 1% penalty for late payments, directs the clerks to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer, directs the treasurer to collect the special assessment, and it repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed
Yes,
and Kessler's absent. Resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. All right, next under public, hearing, the proposed street lighting special assessment district. This is West Wind's Phase One hearing of necessity. The owner and developer of the Cider Creek condominium subdivision has petitioned for a street lighting special assessment district. The estimated cost of the project is $2,300 for street light installation, $2,760 per year for operation and maintenance of the street lights plus administrative costs. This is a public hearing on the creation of the special assessment district. The board will now accept public comment on the following: the creation of the special assessment district, proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvement, the plans for the improvement, and the cost estimates for the improvement. I will now open the meeting for public comment. Anything written, Tom?
No.
All right, is there anyone here that would like to address the board? And again, we're only talking about the West Winds Phase One.
To point out, this is, as Mr. Tucker might say, same song, second verse.
Yep.
This is developer owned,
Developer,
they're putting the lights in under the township contract and so going through the process.
all right. Hearing none, anybody on Zoom that would like to address the board? Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Same song, second verse.
Same song, second verse. All right, resolution number 2024-44, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Approves the plans and estimated cost, creates the West Wind One Streetlight Special Assessment District, which includes units 1 through 67 in the West Wind condominium subdivision, directs the supervisor to create a special assessment role, repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Kessler is absent. I vote yes. Reed,
yes,
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. In anticipation of the adoption of the previous resolution, a special assessment role has been created, certified, and filed with the township clerk. Resolution number 2024-45, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes. Acknowledges the filing of the special assessment role with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Sketches of the public hearing and the special assessment role at the October 1st board meeting. Directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute. Repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Reed,
yes,
Kessler's absent, Contract,
Yes.
I vote yes, resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next public hearing is proposed Lake Improvement Special Assessment District, Pine Lake, hearing of necessity. This is a public hearing on the creation of a new lake improvement special assessment district for Pine Lake for the continuation of the weed control program. The total estimated cost of the project is $109,005.50 spread over a 3-year period. The board will now accept public comment on the following: creation of the special assessment district, the proposed boundaries of the district, the necessity of the improvement, the preliminary plans for the improvement, and the estimated cost for the improvement. I will now open up the meeting for public comment. Tom, there's nothing written.
Nothing written.
All right, is there anyone here that would like to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to Zoom. Is there anyone attending via Zoom? All right, hearing none, I will now close the public comment. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right. Hearing none, resolution number 2024-46, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, thank you. Approves the plans and estimated costs of $109,005.50. Creates Pine Lake Special Improvement Assessment District 3, which includes all the properties with the frontage on Pine Lake. Directs the supervisor to create special assessment role, repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
support,
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes,
resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, in anticipation of the adoption of the previous resolution, a special assessment roll has been created, certified, and filed with the township clerk. Resolution number 2024-47, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll with the clerk and its availability for review until the public hearing. Schedules a public hearing on special assessment roll at the October 1st board meeting. Discusses directs the clerk to publish and mail the notice of hearing according to statute, repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move that resolution.
support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes,
Kessler's absent. Lorraine,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right. Last under public hearings, the Fenton Township Fire Protection Special Assessment District 2024 Special Assessment Roll. This is a public hearing on the 2024 Fenton Township Fire Protection Special Assessment Roll. The assessment per property remains at $65. I guess I'd like to assure the residents that the Fenton Township Fire Department is the best. Also to remind the residents that this assessment has not gone up since 1997. I saw a hotline, or I think they call it the TCT hotline, and somebody was saying, oh, the Fenton Township Board's raising our taxes again. The Fenton Township Board does not do that. And unless there is a reason to do that, but also we have, I think, the best fire chief, not only in the county, but probably in the state, Ryan Bolton. Ryan, would you like to come up and address the board?
hold on. Finish it.
Gonna get a big head.
Which Vince said, it hasn't been touched since '97, since it started. We're pretty fortunate because I think the growth of our community helps keep it at bay so we can service our residents. And that's one of the nice things about the way the assessment works. You can see some of our neighboring communities, theirs are up over 125, 130, 140. We're pretty comfortable at our 65. So it works well for us. We have what we need. If we don't have what we need, we go to the fire committee and we discuss it, and we come to the board, and if we need to purchase it, we purchase it. So it's not like, again, like the other municipalities that have to take out of the general fund, and they're always looking for money to buy new fire trucks, fire gear, all that stuff. So pretty fortunate, and we're very thankful to our residents that pay that in their taxes to keep us going. So appreciate it.
Thanks, chief. Do a great job, great management.
Thank you.
So just to remind the residents, there's not been, the assessment has not gone up since 1997, so extrapolate that out with any type of inflation or anything. Being well managed. All right, I will now open up the meeting for public comment. Is there any written comments in the packet? Tom?
None.
All right, is there anyone here that would like to address the board on the fire special assessment? All right, hearing none, is there anyone that's attending via Zoom that would like to address the board? All right, hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, resolution number 2024-48. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, confirm special assessment roll number 2024-08 as the okay.
I just saw that.
I'm sorry. I run into a 2028 and I thought, I know time flies, but not that bad. Let's try again. Confirm special assessment roll number 2024-08 as the 2024 Fenton Township Fire Protection Special Assessment Roll, establishes a due and payable date of December 1st, assesses 1% a month penalty on late installments. Pardon me, directs the clerk to deliver the special assessment roll with warrant attached to the treasurer directs the treasurer to collect the special assessment. It repeals any conflicting resolutions. I'll move the resolution.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any, any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Contract,
Yes.
I vote yes. Kessler's absent. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next business order is reports. Are there any committee reports made to the board this evening? Hearing none, we'll move on to communications. We have none this evening. Moving on to adoption of ordinances. This is a proposed updated sign regulation ordinance. This is the second reading and vote on the adoption. We have our zoning administrator here.
Yeah, as we mentioned last time, the ordinance amendments are essentially just clearing up some old sections of the sign ordinance and then addressing temporary signs to make sure that they're content neutral. Planning Commission has passed a recommendation to adopt the ordinance as presented.
All right, thanks, Mike. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Ready for the packet? Okay, a motion is ordered to adopt the updated sign regulation ordinance as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Lorraine,
Yes.
I vote yes. Contract,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right. Moving on to unfinished business. Tonight we have nothing. And moving on to new business. This is resolution number 2024-49. This is Cider Creek Street Lights. Operations Manager Broker, will you explain?
Yes, with the confirmation of the special assessment role for Cider Creek streetlights, we now need to authorize Consumers Energy to install those lights. So what we have in the packet is an overview of the request, which is includes an $800 invoice for the 8 streetlights that are installed. There's a map showing the location of them, if you can actually decipher one of those, I can't. Then the authorization for change in contract, and then a resolution to authorize the supervisor or clerk to execute that authorization for change that we can submit to consumers to get the lights installed.
Thanks, Tom. All right, are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, resolution number 2024-49. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Authorize the township supervisor and clerk to execute on behalf of the township a street lighting contract change authorizing for street lights to be installed under the site. Is it Cider Creek 1 Street Lighting Special Assessment District. I'll move the resolution.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, I vote yes. Patrick,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Rain,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Moving on to new business. This is proposed social media policies. As a follow-up to our social media coordinator's presentation, she has drafted 2 policies for board consideration. One is an internal social media policy, and the second is a social media policy use policy with terms and conditions. These documents have been reviewed by the township attorney before being presented to the board. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I think you,
Yeah.
Kate.
Yeah, so I think the content moderation policies here, well, first of all, I do think they probably violate the First Amendment, but aside from that, I just want to go through a couple of them that I think are a really bad idea. So we got sensitive information. This is the content moderation section. The part regulating what employees can say, I think is all fine. But the part regulating what people can basically reply to on, like, a Facebook thread that we started, I think is concerning. So one of the things is sensitive information, or definition for that's information that could, in the township's opinion, compromise the health, safety, and or welfare of the public. So I think we've all with COVID had some pretty good examples of times where all these social media companies have seen things like, COVID information. Maybe they thought, like, I don't know, people talking about ivermectin, or people were talking about myocarditis, and lots of the things, basically, you'd have Facebook would think at the time it was misinformation, maybe because they were being lobbied by people in the federal government, but they would think it was misinformation, they would take it down, and a lot of the things that they've taken down have later been shown to be true. I'm not interested in, I mean, and this would be, that's Facebook doing it and they're a private actor. We're not a private actor, we're the literal government. So I don't think that we should be doing anything remotely like that. I don't want us deciding if someone posts, I don't know, about the water and they say they had their water tested and they don't think the water is safe or, you know, something like that. And it's a post about health. I don't want us taking it down. I mean, maybe we respond to it and say like you know, as far as the township knows, the water's perfectly safe or something. So that's just one example.
Hold on one second. Monica, do you want to
Yeah.
respond to that? Or Jack, you can also jump in. We might as well take them piece by piece.
Sure.
Monica?
Yes, that's about personal safety. It's not talking about water quality. Definitely, if somebody sees a water quality issue, we want to know it. That was actually even just today, we finally had somebody that called today, like, hey, do you guys know there was a hydraulic leak on Friday? No, you gotta tell us. We want to know that information. That's about public safety regarding our residents. You can't go and like dox them. You can't be like, well, so-and-so at this street on this is doing this. We don't want that. That's the type of stuff that needs to come in through Pat, our ordinance officer, and go through the proper channels.
Yeah, I mean, that's great, but that's not what it says. It says sensitive information that could, in the township's opinion, compromise the health, safety, and or welfare of the public. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with you, that there's possible information, but what it says is if the township, if we think that information out there, someone's posting on our comments compromises health, we can, delete it. Right, that's just a plain reading of what that sentence says. I don't think there's any doubt that under reading of that, if you think there's something that decreases the welfare of the public or is unsafe information to have out there, under plain reading of this, you could delete it.
Jack, you reviewed this.
Yeah, and well, what Kate is saying, I mean, Monica and I talked a bunch. But like every attorney, there's always something else you can find or whatever. And I understand what Kate is saying. I think it's just a question of the word compromise. I think that's the main focus.
I mean, if it was like, if it was worded around doxing, I think it would be fine. I don't know what it's intended to do other than that. I think if it said you can't dox private residents or something, I wouldn't be too worried about that as a speech issue. I guess I don't know, I can go through the other concerns I have with, just because there's several of these points, it's not just that one point. If we just go starting with A, we've got comments expressly advocating direct violence. Okay, especially with imminent violence, townships, government can regulate that. It says or other legal activity. If someone wants to speak advocating in the abstract for civil disobedience against the township, you know, they have a constitutional right to do that, and we don't have the right to, the township, the government does not have a right, under the First Amendment to stop people from advocating in the abstract for, you know, some blocking a street or something, civil disobedience. Now, if it's a specific action, you know, like a specific imminent violent action, governments can regulate that. Then we've got, I actually thought the obscenity part was written okay. And there's quite a bit of case law about being able to regulate obscenities for townships, because there's always been like porn stores and stuff that townships and governments are trying to keep out. And so there's lots of things showing that you can regulate that. Then we've got comments that expressly encourage or advocate the township to legally discriminate based on race, age, religion, gender, national origin, disability, sexual orientation, veteran status, or any other legally protected class. I fully agree that the township shouldn't discriminate based on any of those things. But people, if someone wants to post a comment on our social media advocating that we not have employees over a certain age or under a certain age, I don't think we have any legal right under the Constitution to censor them. And then we've got the links, I think, is content neutral. Then we've got spam or commercial or non-commercial promotion of a business, service, or political organization or individual. And it's got like duplicate comment. The duplicate comments part's fine, that's content neutral. But with say non-commercial promotion of a person, I don't know how you're gonna police that line. That's more like how it's administered. But again, like if someone, I don't know, wants to advocate an individual for something about their business or something, I don't know, I think we're gonna run into some problems there. I mean, if it's content neutral and it's equally applied, it might be fine. Then we've got comments containing actual defamation, and then we've got as determined by court. I think that's fine. And then we've got or comments that are patently defamatory by easily discovered facts. I don't know, I can see that being misused, you know, someone gets on here, they say something bad about, I don't know, about the board, about the supervisor. And then we decide we think that's defamatory and we delete it. I wouldn't want to do that before the court. You know, if you get a court judgment about whether it's defamatory, then fine, but I wouldn't want us to be getting out ahead of the courts on that. I think that's most of it. There's a hyperlink thing I'm fine with. Oh, and the Freedom of Information Act request, I think it makes sense that the Freedom of Information Act requests need to be made through the township. But if someone then is going to post about their Freedom of Information Act request, or say the township's not responding to my Freedom of Information Act request and say something about it on public, I think that could get, I don't want them blocked or censored over that.
Yeah,
And
it
so
just,
some
it
of
just says
these-
they can't request it on Facebook because it's not monitored 24/7.
Well, right, but let's say they don't think the request has been, their private request has been honored, and then they request it on Facebook to make other people aware that their request isn't being honored. I think that's us censoring their speech again. So I see a lot of these as a problem. And then also we're not just going, this isn't just like a one-time thing, then we're also blocking or banning users if we decide that they've violated it too many times. I don't really want us involved in that either. I guess a lot of this, I think, is just completely unnecessary because all these, like Facebook is going to control a lot of this type of information anyway, or like, I assume Nextdoor does, I'm not sure as much with Nextdoor. Twitter, I don't think we have any ability to delete people's replies anyway. So I just don't think, I don't think it's necessary. I think a lot of this is protected by the First Amendment. And then the things that aren't protected by the First Amendment, I really don't want us in the business necessarily of regulating a lot of the speech anyway, so.
Okay, I understand. So here's my question, is we had our township attorney review this, and it sounds like we have conflicts. So do we have a source out there? I mean, it sounds like most of your objections are constitutional,
Yeah, most of it's.
First Amendment
First-
types of things. So do we have resources in the MTA?
I
Did
don't
you
know
have
if the
them review
MTA
that?
I do have a bunch of case law. There was even some of them included on the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I've read those cases and I don't think they support anything remotely like
Are
that.
they adjudicated? That means the judges.
Yeah, those were. they were
Okay,
Supreme
a
Court
lot of
Doesn't
that
matter if you
comes-
agree with them if they've been.
Oh, no,
adjudicated.
they don't say that we can do this, is what I'm saying. Not,
So I've been to several seminars with a lawyer that actually this is his presentations are about the things that are protected by the First Amendment and the things that aren't. Just like there are things that people can come in here and state, there's things that people can't come in here and do, and it's the same thing.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
feel that it's a strong document?
Yeah.
Or do you feel that we would have to have a constitutional lawyer review this policy? I mean, or do you feel confident that at this
I
point
feel
right now that
confident,
this
but
board can
I
vote
don't-
on this without any issue?
I mean, I never have any issue with having any lawyer look it over. I mean, Jack and I have already gone over it, but if you want to have another lawyer look it over before voting on it, I don't have an issue with that. But yeah, there's a bunch of case law on this.
And you
this is
feel
stuff
it's a
that-
sound document at this point?
Yes, I believe it's a sound document.
Is there any other?
Yeah, would this be something that if there was a specific item that drew your attention, could we not just have you and our township attorney converse over that and get the feel of
Yeah,
whether?
so that is part of that's in the policy too, is about the one person that gets to make those decisions, whether it's deleting or hiding. Honestly, would never delete in the first place. Hide would be the optimal thing to do. Because then if we do have an overruling, then we just post it back up there. In the time that we've been here, the things that have come up that are questionable have been very limited. We have had people post spam already. I know our fire department had spam posted on that one too. Haven't really been following the dog park, but I know with how popular they are, they probably had it. My concern is our residents or even any of our staff, if they see a link that's posted on there and they think we're promoting it, that they're clicking on links. We just had an issue of release about not clicking on third-party text messages related to election stuff. We don't want our residents being in danger.
So I support what Kate's saying. I don't want to be in the position to have the township being deleting information.
Right.
Because I agree
Yeah.
with what happened with
Just
Facebook.
on one point,
Well, we kind of, my point is that, is it important, like, short-term rentals, is it important that we get something in place right now? Or do you feel it needs to be reviewed again? I mean, I want to have discussion with more board members, but again, if you went through this with our attorney and you've been to multiple seminars and everything else, do you see this township being in any liability? And Jack, you better say no. If you reviewed it, that would put this township in any type of.
Not based on that policy.
Is there any other comments or questions from
Yeah,
the
I
board?
just wanna say the link thing, that's content neutral. I don't have any problem with us deleting all links that aren't to our website. It's when we're making decisions based on what the speech is, not.
Okay, Jack, do you have a legal recommendation?
Well, what Kate is saying is very relevant, but I mean, it's kind of a matter of how you interpret and administer these policies. And clearly, this policy, as Kate points out, could be administered where it creates a problem. But that's not likely the case. I mean, Monica and I talked about this a whole bunch, went back and forth. We even argued a little bit. I don't think that realistically you have liability here unless, if Monica's doing this, she has a handle on this. I don't see that we're going to get ourselves into a situation. Anything could end up in a lawsuit. Any lawyer knows that. The question is it a worthwhile lawsuit? I don't think there's anything here that's gonna happen based on what I've read and talking to Monica, that's going to put us in a bad liability standpoint. I mean,
Okay,
it's possible, but not probable.
I know you're not a constitutional lawyer, but you're still a lawyer.
I took two constitutional law classes.
There you go.
Probably 40 years ago now.
I think I had a couple of B
Did
law
they have the
courses.
Constitution then?
They did. It was called the Articles of Confederation.
Do you have an opinion?
I understand what Cade is saying, and it sounds like he's had some First Amendment classes more recently than I have, so I'm not in any position to, dive into it. To Jack's point, I think if we enact it, I don't think we're opening up floodgates to litigation here because I know how it's gonna be administered. But, Cade's saying that's probably true, but make it correct anyway, that why have it in there so that you gotta administer around it, I think is probably what his argument would be. I'm fine putting it in place and maybe tracking as things happen, maybe, we get a report back so we can see what is going on, because I'm guessing there's probably not a ton of activity like that, but hypothetically, there certainly could be. And hypothetically, as Jack says, you don't have to have a good claim, you just have to have $150. And you can have whatever claim you want, but I don't know, First Amendment cases aren't known for, it's not like you block my speech, give me $10 million. That's not typically how those cases go. They're just, stop blocking that type of content kind of a thing. I don't think it's a big risk if you want to get something in place.
I guess I feel that, you go to a playground, it's got rules, they're not all there and they might be, they could change every year, but they don't repaint the sign. I'm just a believer in having something in place. And then, why don't I, assure the board that we'll have a constitutional lawyer look at it, but I truly trust that Monica's done her homework. She knows what she's doing, and I trust that at this point right now. But again, I believe in what you said, Kate, but I'd like to have something on the books. And we can review it. Like STR, it's never gonna be perfect. One lawyer will tell you one thing and another will tell you something else. So we can only do the best we can, and tell you how much we love lawyers.
As the case law will change too. Who knows in 3 years what the next case
They
law
can
precedent
adjudicate
is,
3
so.
cases on Facebook. What is there, like, there's 1,100, or I heard, or more cases against Facebook for just
Oh,
about
yeah,
what you're
I-
talking about. There's like over
Yeah,
a
I mean, there was a
thousand.
big case against the federal government, I think agencies in the federal
Agents
government
of
were
the yes.
pressuring Facebook and.
So we're gonna
other-
probably see a ton of stuff coming out.
But I mean, I don't think anything's gonna change the sort of core First Amendment law, and this is not, I mean, if you're, and if you're censoring sensitive information, if it's not compromising the health, safety, or welfare of the public, or even if you're censoring racist speech, or you're censoring, I don't think anything's gonna change and allow the government to start banning racist speech. Like, that's been a core, like, the First Amendment's been,
Well,
the case law is very clear on.
Well, I would side on caution if we had somebody that was posting racial slurs on our Facebook. You know, I may get
Take it
in a little
off,
bit of
let 'em
trouble.
sue.
I'm gonna
Let-
take
let
it
'em
down
sue
and let
me.
them sue.
But, I mean.
Simple as that. I
we're
mean,
doing it
racism
based
is
on
racism.
age,
That's not the
you know,
best analogy.
We're doing it based on a lot of things there. It's not just, or racism. And I mean, I don't want anyone posting some sort of speech that I don't like on and think is bad or immoral on our site. I just also don't want the government literally banning speech that the First Amendment protects.
I'm for you.
So, and
I-
that's
I'm
what we've
listening
been
to you. I
doing.
support you. I'm
Yeah.
just, again, I'm siding on caution. I'd like to at least get something on the books. I can understand, you know. So why don't we just do this? Well, is there any other questions or comments? Okay, a motion is in order to adopt the Fenton Township social media policy as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Patrick,
No,
Kessler's absent, I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks. Next, a motion is in order to adopt the Fenton Township social media policy, use policy, and terms and conditions as presented. Thank you, Monica. I'm sorry.
So move.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Oh,
No, didn't get a second.
oh, we didn't?
Second.
I was gonna say, I thought I heard you. Maybe
Yes, it was like, I mumbled.
you mumbled. All right. All right, motion's now been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Gopel.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Patrick,
no,
I vote yes. Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
I will look at this for,
yeah, I
just to,
mean, I really do
it's
think.
passed, but I want to get it up there, but I
Yeah, I
will.
do think it would be good to have a lawyer practice with First Amendment law like that. I don't think it's anywhere close to being legal.
Yeah, I think the intent is, obviously, there's no ill intent, but I
Yeah.
think
Right.
it could be worded a little bit better, so maybe we just need to go back and wordsmith it, so there's more clarity.
That's what I was
I think
assuring
the-
Kate.
What
Yeah.
he's talking about is more than that. I mean, he's talking about simply not having the ability to regulate certain things that's in there now. He's talking about dilutions,
Yeah, I
not,
think there.
not using this word versus that word, and I don't,
I think there are
Yeah.
some things in there that you
Yeah.
could do that are like, I don't
Yeah,
think
no
a problem with the links, I don't think there's a problem with like the duplicate
Yeah.
post really quick, or, you know, there are some things in there that are obviously content neutral that
right,
would obviously be legal.
right.
And I know that you want to talk about, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just trying to say that we've already hashed those marks
Yes.
off. I just wanted to reassure the board that I will figure out what we
Take a
have to
look
do
at
next to have a constitutional lawyer look at it. I think it would be a good investment because we are talking about constitutional rights and I do support what Kate's saying. So I want something on the books, or hopefully the board just said, we want something on the books. We'll go from there. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, instead of just having one person, look at it subjectively, why, I mean, obviously, there's certain things that are black and white. But the ones that are even questionable, why not just have her consult with somebody else instead of just taking that on herself?
Well, we have resources that I'll meet with her tomorrow. We have resources from the MTA, I'm sure, even though we are probably the best municipality at social media. I'm sure that there's information that's out there that we can get without paying, a large firm, a constitutional firm to do it. I'm sure the MTA, there's resources out there, so we'll track it down. We'll track it down. Anything else? All right, moving on to new business. This is proposed, or continuing with new business, this is the proposed citizen notification app, GoGov. GoGov is the next step in governmental communications, building on the network from the last 3 years to develop the new website, the social media channels, and the e-notifications. GoGov is a branded tool that will streamline the communication process, external messaging. Monica, I'd like you to come up and give a brief description. And,
Yeah, all right, I'm back. So as we talked about earlier, like 3 years ago, we didn't have social media. We had a different website that wasn't as accessible. And that's one of the things that our next step is, I was talking about earlier, is finding our residents where they're at. Not everybody does social media, as been pointed out even here. But we do apps. We download Nextdoor onto our phones. This app not only allows us to communicate with our residents that download it directly by sending them a notification, it also links with our e-notifications that our people sign up through on our website through the portal. It will also connect with Twitter/X and with Facebook. So if we have an emergency, we just put a water line in, heaven forbid, we don't have a water main break where we had to put out a boil water advisory to people down phase 1 or phase 2. If we do, we send it out once on the app. It's not me, I've got to go to Facebook, now I've got to go to Nextdoor, now I've got to send the email out. It will streamline all of that process. The app also allows, and we can change the buttons on it to, throughout the year, different things are hot topics. You can put election stuff on there right now. So if somebody has a question right now about where's my polling location, what precinct am I in? They just pull up the app, hit the election part, and it's there. They can go through, because we're talking about streetlights. Streetlights go out, they have an issue. You're supposed to report it to consumers, but they don't know that. They pay the assessments here. So we have it on our website already, but that's another link we can put on that app where they can go, okay, I'm sitting at this intersection, this light's out. And they can have somebody right there go ahead and send it right to consumers, right from the app. We can do that with all the different types of topics. One of the big ones that people use it for is ordinances. We already have a web form on the website, but that'll link right to our website. It's all very interfacive. So it's going to bridge that gap of those that are on social media, those that are on the website. Because like I pointed out before, people are looking for the different things when they use social media versus the website and kind of bring them together.
thanks, Monica, I really appreciate it. You can stay out there a second, in
Yep.
case somebody's got questions. All I gotta say is that I've looked over this, Monica and I have talked about it, and I believe the more accessibility that people, our residents have with us as a township, the better they are. And I mean, how would you like to have an app to our congressman or to your president or something like that? I mean, this gives us the ability, or our residents, the ability to communicate with this township on a now basis. Like right now, like she said, you could be sitting in an intersection, the light doesn't work, they can communicate that to the township. I think this is just the next step. I think we've done a great job, but I think this is a tool that we need. And I think it's gonna be worth the investment because the taxpayers are paying for it, but I think if we could ask everybody that's out there, they would, the penny, I guess, or the eighth of a cent, they would pay for this app. I think that, the ability, giving us the ability to communicate with our residents is very important, so. Any questions or comments from the board for Monica?
Question, Monica, I'm sure you've seen a demo of this and maybe even played with it on your phone, but I would assume that the citizens can sort of moderate what level of communications they get. Like if I sign up, I might not want every communication that goes out, but if there's a weather event or something, I might want that.
So
I mean,
similar to, like, yep, similar to our e-notifications that we have already on the website, you can select, like, I want meeting notices so that, hey, the meeting, you get a 10 a.m. reminder that, hey, there's a meeting tonight. You can go through and kind of customize that just like you can the
That's what I
e-notifications.
want to picture. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the proposal for GoGov for the Go notification app at an annual cost of $4,800 as presented.
So moved.
Or
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Oh,
I pointed out to Tom, the insurance provision of that contract is not very good, and so he's going to check with the carrier for the township to make sure that they're okay with that provision. So if something happens, we have coverage.
okay. So do we have to make it conditional?
Probably wouldn't hurt, just make a
Yeah,
conditional
I think we should.
on, approve, that our insurance company,
John, you want to point a motion? The conditional motion?
No pressure, John.
No pressure,
Yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah. I recommend, is a resolution, what are we talking about?
Just, yep, you're making a motion. A conditional motion,
Yeah.
a motion with a condition.
Let me get there, I was there and I moved back to the expenditures, gonna find that typo. So. Okay. All right, well, I would, move that we authorize the township to enter into contract to obtain GoGov application service for the township's residents, cost of $4,800 per year, subject to receipt of approval from the townships, ensure that there will be coverage for events related to the application.
Support.
Don't ask me to repeat it.
That was actually really good. All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
What do you say, John? Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes,
contract,
Yes.
I vote yes, motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business, the approval of the 2024 Fenton Township operating millage rate. This is something we do every year that we're very proud of. So Tom, you want to give some brief details?
Yes, so this was just starts at the special meeting on September 3rd. As you recall, a Michigan Court of Appeals case from 3 years ago now determined that the authorized millage for all charter townships starts at 5 mills, regardless of how the township became a charter township, and that was always the sticking point. So bottom line is that ruling substantially increases the maximum millage rate the township can legally levy each year. Despite that, the board has thus far left the millage rate unchanged from 2021, which is 0.6576 of a mill. We now are facing the deadline to file our L4029 form, and so we need a formal approval of the 2024 millage rate. Based on the discussions, I've attached a draft L4029, keeping the rate the same as it has been in the last 3 years, for board approval.
Thanks, Tom. Well, hopefully this will be a good story in the Tri-County Times, but I just want to make sure that our residents understand and the article's correct. We have not raised the rate or the taxes for our township residents since 2021. There is no increase this year. Are there any other questions or comments? from the
Even
board?
though we could.
Yes, a lot. Well-managed township. Any other questions or comments? All right. Hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the millage rate of 0.6576 for Fenton Township's operating millage for the December 2024 property tax roll as presented.
So moved.
support,
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Kessler's absent, I vote yes, Reed,
yes,
Lorraine,
Yes.
contract,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Next under new business is the resolution number 2024-50. This is an authorized submission of a TAP grant application, pedestrian bridge. Our zoning administrator, Mike Dean, is here to
Yes.
explain.
So we spoke earlier, TAP grant is transfer and alternative program. The funding, it's a federal funding program that can be used for pathways. What we're requesting is a resolution to allow us to, for match funding for a pedestrian bridge over US 23 as part of the Thompson Road improvements that are going on with roundabouts on either side of 23 on Thompson Road. The grant requires a minimum 20% match. Based on discussions with MDOT, they recommended a 40% match to make the application more competitive. So we just got updated engineer estimates today. So the request would be for the township for that 40% match to be $914,000 for a total project cost of approximately $2,265,000. So again, this is supported by the master plan, it's supported by the Parks and Rec plan, and supported by the Thompson Road Corridor plan. The concept has been in discussion for 20 years, and we're at a point now with development and other transportation projects to make this happen. Ideally, it'll be part of a larger project, and to help get that ball rolling and build momentum, we're trying to take care of the biggest chunk, the biggest hurdle of that project.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none. Thanks, Mike. Resolution number 2024-50. Clerk Crew, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, authorizes the submission of an MDOT TAP grant application in the amount of 1.2 million, with Fenton Township providing 800,000 in matching funds. Authorizes the township supervisor to sign the grant award contract. Authorizes township engineer to represent the township during the project development. Commits to allow MDOT, Davison TSC to implement the grant project on behalf of the township. Commits to owning and maintaining the pedestrian walkway and perpetually. Yeah,
In perpetuity.
perpetuity, easy for me to say. Acknowledges responsibility for engineering permits, administration, potential cost overruns, and non-participating costs. Commits to taking all action necessary to submit MDOT TAP grant applications. I'll move the resolution.
Mike,
So before we support that, we had updated numbers on there. So,
I was just gonna say that's wrong.
Yeah, that's the script, the narrative was drafted earlier and that wasn't.
correct, so.
Per amendment.
So the grant amount would be 1,371,000, and with Fenton Township would provide 914,000 for a total construction cost of 2,285,000.
Thanks, Mike.
I think that's what Bob said.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
Oh, yeah, right,
So with that amended,
right to the plate.
With that amendment, I will support.
Had to point out there's an amendment. Huh?
did you move it? Bob?
Yes,
All right. All right.
I don't know if we got a second.
She just gave it to you.
Okay,
All right. Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
yes, Lorraine,
Yes.
Cutrick,
Yes.
Kester's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
Yes,
resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is proposed donation of property. We've reviewed the memo in our packets. Our assessor, Julia Wilson, do you want to come up, Julia? And provide additional information?
She's like, no.
Yeah, sure, you guys. She has so generously given us her evenings to come here and be with this board, every board meeting. Thank you.
Most of you remember when tax sales happened through the state, probably except for Kane. This parcel is one of those, and it was a gentleman that's what he did. He bought up tax sale properties from the state of Michigan, sight unseen, didn't know what they were. This is actually part of Windsor Beach, from Fenton Road about 300-400 feet back. And it's a 20-foot strip. The gentleman who's passed away, his kids got all of this property they inherited. They're trying to clean them up. And when he called us, when we found it was part of the road, we got a hold of the road commission. Road commission said, what do we want it deeded to us for? We already have the right to the right of way, so we don't want to touch it. The only way to get this parcel off the roll, because it really shouldn't be on the roll, the back half of this parcel, when Windsor Beach became public, there was no parcel for it. So we don't even know how this one got created. So it just needs to go away, and the only way to do that is to have it donated to the township, and then we can remove the whole parcel from the wall.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, a motion is in order to accept ownership of parcel number 06-12-551-009 at no cost to the township for the purpose of removing the property from the tax roll.
So moved.
Support,
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
yes, Kessler's absent, Gopel,
Yes.
I vote yes, Reed,
yes,
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cutrick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Moving on to the next business order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns? Hearing none. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's just next Wednesday, the 25th, Fenton Township and the city of Fenton were chosen for the initial show or meeting. It's called Conversations with the Clerk, the County Clerk. Fenton City, myself and Tom will take part. We're hoping people ask us about elections and things like that.
Great. When is that again?
Next Wednesday, the 25th, at 6 o'clock,
Where at?
right here.
Right here. Okay, right in our township. We love it. Right in this beautiful hall. Anything else? Any other concerns, comments from the board? Hearing none, we will move on to public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. I will now open up the meeting. Anyone that is attending tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda item? Yes, sir. Evening.
My name's Dave McCready. I live on Pine Lake. Did I get here too late for the special assessment?
Yes,
What was the result?
it was passed.
Okay,
So the district was created.
Created,
and
yeah.
And we've now scheduled a hearing on the special assessment role, which will be on October
Okay.
1st.
I'm in favor of it. Who would I talk to see what the extent of this weed eradication is?
Aquatic nuisance.
Well,
That's
no,
aquatic.
that's not the company in this case. It's
Oh.
called Lake Pro
Lake
Services.
Pro.
It-
But Lake Pro Services is the company, but the copy of their proposal is in the public information packet on the website, if you want to look there. It was provided by the Pine Lake Association.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for
you.
coming. How are you? All right, is there anyone else that's attending here tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Yes,
I would, thank you very much.
come on up, just state your name.
My name is Tammy Rudy.
And I drove here from Midland County, Edenville Township, candidate-elect. We have three candidate-elects that are going to be unopposed in November, so we're preparing for what's going to happen then. None of us have ever held elected township positions, but we have a lot of other experience. I really have to say thank you so much for being so welcoming. Your clerk, not only previous to this meeting on an email, very responsive with me. Your professionalism and your camaraderie and your preparedness are just outstanding. I just want to commend you for that. And I want to say on Monica's behalf, I had not met her until Bob introduced us tonight, but she participates very thoroughly and freely on the MTA blog, and that is how I learned of her and her expertise and why I chose to come tonight to hear her presentation. And we also we're interested in what you're doing with your transparency with Zoom and so on. So this has been really fun for me tonight. It's like an outing almost. Kate, I did want to comment just one thing, and I hope I don't go over the 3 minutes. If I do, stop me.
Gotta stop.
Between my husband and myself, we have about 60 years of law enforcement experience. Our education is not as an attorney in the legal field, but constitutional rights are huge in our lives, have been for many, many years. And we still have lots of conversations, even though both of us have now retired. One of the things, and I listened very carefully to what you were saying, and I respected everything you were saying, and I heard some people wanted to agree with you, but they want to do something too. So I just wanted to say this. There are things that are not protected by your First Amendment rights to speech and in writing. And so maybe if your policy was modeled a little bit more leaner towards those things, and I jotted a few of them down here, you are not protected when you incite lawless action. You're not protected when you harass people. You're not protected when you threaten. You're not protected when you defame, when you use obscenity, child pornography, and fighting words. So I heard what you say. Who's going to interpret what they're putting on these comments to see, are they First Amendment rights or not? And so maybe if you use some of this language to try and define the harm to safety and well-being and so on, what you were talking about, health, safety, well-being, instead of defining it in those terms, use some more specific terms that the courts have said are not protected by First Amendment. Might be helpful. Just my observation, because we talk about this stuff probably too much. So thank you so much all for
Well, thank you
helping.
very
And
much,
some of those
Tammy.
people, those names up there are from Edenville Township.
I see Art, Art is from,
Yeah, Art's
Art,
up there.
hi Art, thanks for joining
And
us.
Catherine.
Catherine also.
Yeah, she drove down though, I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Gonna have a party.
Thanks, Tammy. Is there anyone else here that's attending tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Hearing none, we will move on to Zoom. Anybody that's attending via Zoom that would like to address the board? If so, unmute and maybe raise your hand or,
I have a question. This is Mark Lemon.
yes, Mark.
Regarding the bridge over top of Thompson Road, do we have plans to put paths on both sides of it?
Just one side right now. Let me give you the short story, Mark. We originally, when we were looking at the renovation to that intersection, we were gonna try and cantilever pedestrian bridges off both the north and south side of the bridge. As we went through the process, we found out that our bridge is very old and it, from an engineering standpoint, wouldn't handle cantilevering off of either side. So that left us only with a freestanding structure, which is expensive, which is why there's only one at this point. And we gotta raise some cash to get that one. But we tried to do it so there'd be two-way off from the bridge and it's just too old. We looked at replacing the bridge, which would have allowed us to cantilever off it, but that doubled or tripled the cost. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but it was out of budget, let's say
More than
that.
3 times.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Question, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how long will it be before I can get on a bicycle at Lake Fenton and get all the way across to the other side of the bridge?
Well, we're probably going to, Mark,
Give 'em
stay
free.
tuned.
Right.
Because we've got bigger plans than just going across the bridge with a bike and then picking it up and carrying it home. We've got a lot bigger plans, for, bike paths. So just stay tuned.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's the path to the future. And this board recognizes that. Any other Zoom attendees that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items?
Yeah, this is Art Peters. I wanted to echo a lot of the comments made by my colleague Tammy. You guys are really put on a show of how a township should be running a board meeting. And we're really grateful that we could sit in and monitor and learn from what you guys are doing tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you for the
I
kind
appreciate
words.
that. Yes, thank you.
Both of you. Thank you. That's very kind.
Thank you.
We're all running for reelection, so if you wanna testimonial, well.
Overall, on a vote.
Still like the vote. Still take the vote. All right. Anyone else on Zoom? Anyone, I'll address anybody here that would like to address the board again? Hearing none, it is now 7:59 PM. If there's nothing else, I say good night and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much for coming.